Evan Lazar here, reporting from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough for CLNS Media with your most burning questions for the Patriots in the 2022 offseason. And this video in our series, I want to talk about some of the elder statesmen in the Patriots locker room. Is this an end of an era for Devin McCourty and Dont'a Hightower, both set to be unrestricted free agents come March for the Patriots? And although you can make the argument, and I wouldn't argue or press back too hard on you if you said that McCourty and Hightower are no longer at the peak of their powers where they were in the primes of their careers, there is undoubtedly still a spot in this defense for both players. Let's start with McCourty, who I think is still closer to his prime or peak performance than Hightower. Last season, yeah, there was some bad angles against the run and the pass that we aren't really used to seeing. That Houston game was one of the worst games I've ever seen Devin McCourty play. Some of the big runs, maybe he could have played them a little bit better as the last line of defense, but for the most part, I think we're nitpicking on Devin McCourty. Had a really solid season in 2021, good on-ball production, a passer rating while targeted of below 40, according to PFF. He was also still one of the best center fielders in the NFL, ranging over the top, protecting over the top in the passing game, limiting big plays through the air. McCourty can still play that free safety position about as good as anybody in the NFL, and definitely as good as anybody currently on the Patriots roster. And I look at this draft class at the safety position, I don't see a ton of great options at the top of the draft. Maybe a guy like Lewis Cine from Georgia could play that single high role, but not a lot of options there. A lot of guys that can play closer to the line of scrimmage in the box, similarly to somebody like Kyle Duggar. But you look at the way the Patriots put together that secondary with Adrian Phillips, with Duggar, who are obviously going to be around, and then Devin McCourty playing as a center fielder. It just fits together. And I think at this point in time, yeah, they could look to the draft to get younger there and try to breed or develop that heir to Devin McCourty in the middle of the field. But for now, McCourty is their best option for the 2022 season. He wants to play. He doesn't want to retire. He wants to come back for the Patriots. And because he has void years in his contract, the Patriots are incentivized to get a deal done before the league year begins in March. So I would expect the Pats and Devin McCourty to reach a contract extension to avoid those voided years and keep him in New England in 2022. As for Hightower, I do think there's an early down linebacker role for Dont'a Hightower. He can still press blockers with the best of them, still a very physical player within the trenches and between the tackles, but somebody that more and more as the NFL becomes more spread heavy, more receiver heavy, speed heavy, is just starting to phase out of the NFL game as we see it today. He is no longer a player because he has lost a little bit of that juice in the pass rush. I don't see him as a player that is a passing downs player in the NFL anymore. He's somebody, yeah, if you want to play him on first down for 30-35% of the snaps and a similar role to what we've seen a Landon Roberts and Jawan Bentley play in the past, I do think that there's a spot in this defense still for Dont'a Hightower, but the days of him playing 75+% of the snaps are long over for Hightower. He's a captain. He's a leader of the defense. Probably could be the defensive coordinator tomorrow if he retired and wanted to join the coaching staff like Gerard Mayo. But at this point in time, not an every down player in the NFL anymore. If the money is right, it makes all the sense in the world to bring back a leader like Hightower in a more limited capacity in the middle of the Patriots defense. But they have to start looking for a successor at the inside linebacker position to number 54, an all-time great Patriot. He's going in the hall behind me. He's going to have a red jacket someday, and he will be remembered for all the big plays that he's made for the Patriots over the years. But it is time to start looking ahead and start moving on from Dont'a Hightower. So there you have it. I would keep Devin McCourty. I'd make sure you can get that thing done and keep him in the middle of your defense and the top of the defense, and keep the top on the defense, I should say. That's what I'm going for. And with Dont'a Hightower, if you want to bring him back in a more limited capacity, I think that is a sound strategy. But let's start thinking about the future at that linebacker position here in New England. You can check out the rest of our series breaking down the most burning questions for the Patriots in the 2022 offseason on Patriots Press Pass and on CLNSmedia.com. I'm Evan Lazar. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching our coverage of the six-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Patriots Press Pass, for a lot more exclusive content on the Patriots right here on CLNSmedia.com.